Hey guys, welcome to Waste Out Wednesday. We go live every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, and we take junk and we transform it into home decor that we use in our house or sell at our shop in Lehigh or at jamierayvintage.com.
And these are old cabinet doors that we pulled off. We're using the actual cabinet in the shop as a display, and it's like an open display so that you can see all the stuff where the doors would have been. And these have just been sitting in the barn.
Tell them why we took them off.
We took them off because we lost the key. So they got ripped off.
So I needed to use this hutch as a display. We lost the key. It's actually not as old as it looks. I think it's a repop. And so these have just been hanging out in the barn. And you guys know that the Great Barn Clean Out is starting today after this live video.
Yeah.
So we can get ready for our barn sale that we're going to have Friday and Saturday at the shop.
Can we call it Barnapalooza?
Yes. Barnapalooza is starting
Everything's
today.
A palooza because we just party around here.
So this is going to be one less project in the barn. Super excited. We're going to turn them into like hanging wall art.
Yeah.
And first we got to get them painted. Then we're going to be using the Maize Roses transfer. I've only ever used it when we did like the first check out this transfer situation. So it's definitely
It's just been waiting for the perfect project. It's not that we
Are
didn't
we taking
want
off
to
the
use it.
hinges?
I am. I think that the hinges are like weird and
I'll
floppy on here.
swap you, and then you can take these off.
I'm also going to take this off for when we paint it, but I'm going to put the knob back on because these knobs are cool.
These knobs aren't coming off.
Why?
I don't know how they're attached, but there's like crud behind them.
Don't you worry. I'll look at it.
Well, then okay.
Give it a sec. Why don't
I'll
you
paint
show
the
them?
inside.
Why don't you,
how about that?
Paint the inset there.
The inside's going to go... So do we want to make the inside white and the outside farm fresh, or the inside farm fresh?
I would do the inside white because
that will look better on white.
This is the transfer we're using, right?
Look how cool it looks on that green, though.
Oh, that is good on the green. Let me show you what we're talking about.
So it's a white transfer. So I'm going to paint this farm fresh, which if you guys watched yesterday, farm fresh is the fall answer to apothecary for me. So
this is the furniture we're talking about. This green looks really good with it underneath.
If you need one of these transfers, we have them at jamierayvintage.com. And if you ever...
These are in... Oh, no, that's a transfer, huh?
Yeah, if you ever are like, I don't know what color to paint my furniture, it really does help to look on the back of the transfer because they usually have a few options. And to be honest, it's not like the stuff was actually used on there. They use computer images. I know because a lot of it is my furniture. That they've taken my images with my permission and used it with the inlays and the transfers. This one I don't think actually has any of my furniture on it, but a lot of them are my pictures, which is fun. So we are just going to get this base coat on here.
I'm going to keep this clasp and these hinges just in case I need them because, you know, I don't have enough stuff.
Oh, yeah, it's not an inlay. It's a transfer. Did you put inlay in the title?
I did, but I was going to use an inlay on mine.
Oh, sorry. I want to make them match.
Okay.
So
we are doing transfers. I'll change that once we're not live.
Sorry, guys. We'll do an inlay another time. Okay, I'm going to need 2 coats on this. You want me to put it outside, or are you almost done with that one?
Probably just grab the heat gun, and you could probably heat gun that in about 3 seconds.
Okay. Jamie, do you ever use a foam roller? No.
No, we toss them.
Those are a pain in the butt to clean. I use a foam roller like if I'm painting walls. I have done videos where I used a foam roller, but they're just not my favorite. If I need to spread paint fast, I typically just use a paint sprayer. Otherwise, I use a brush because I'm pretty good with a brush.
Yeah,
I have the fastest brush
especially
in the
with
West.
The DIY paints, like they cover so well. You just brush and you're done.
Yeah, if I hadn't had this wet from wiping it down, I probably would have almost got 1 coat coverage.
All right, this one's ready for you. You can paint it up.
It's the Maize Roses transfer is what we're using, Caitlin.
Look at that. I told you not to worry.
Well, we always save the hardware because even if we don't use it, we have a hardware section in the shop and we sell them. So instead of like hoarding it, we just put it in the hardware bin. And then if we need hardware, we go to the hardware bin. It doesn't sound like a lot because we sell them in the store. It's $2 a hardware piece, and online it's $3. But it all adds up, and we probably sold like $300 or $400 of what would have just been sitting around or tossed eventually, and it's getting used by somebody. So I like that.
Oh, you painted all the way up on
You didn't
the
wipe
routed
that
edge.
down.
Oh, I'm not going to worry about that.
Oh, I painted the edge because it'll be a lot easier to just bring the white to the edge than trying to bring the white over
This
that
is
routed
just
edge.
a little dust on here with this clay-based
This is a
paint.
little texture.
With this clay-based paint, you're not even going to know.
If you use a brush, it shows paint lines. Well, we're using DIY paint, so we want it to have paint lines. If I don't want paint lines, then I use cottage color because it's self-leveling.
But a lot of times we're trying to build the texture and
yeah, I want it to look hand painted. Latex is a little different because it's like you get, if you're using latex or acrylic, you get lines, but then it's like plasticky, chunky, whatever. But when the clay paint, when you get those lines and texture, it just looks like old artisan paint. So I'm happy to have it. So I guess it just depends on what I'm doing, but that's why I don't use a roller, because I like it. Oh, Caitlin said that one of us should stencil to show off that. Maybe we'll do a stencil over the transfer. I forgot that the stencil brushes are 20% off. The sale just started today. No code needed. We'll see how far we get, Caitlin. If we get this all painted up, maybe we'll throw a stencil like on the edge of the frame or something. If not, we will definitely use stencils for our Barnapalooza, so we can remind people that they're on sale, the stencil brushes.
So I think what we'll do on that is I'll start pulling stuff out. I'll get you set up to spray. And then as I pull things out, you can just start spraying it. Otherwise, it's going to be Thursday. Or, well, you want to do it Friday and Saturday, right? The tent sale?
Huh? Yeah, it's Friday and Saturday. Vicky said that online you're paying more. I actually wasn't going to put the hardware online at all because honestly, for $1.95, it's not worth like paying somebody to ship it. So I raised it to $2.95 to cover the like effort of shipping the item, and it's worked out well. Sometimes it's that or nothing. Same thing with furniture. We have to charge way more to pay for shipping on it. That's just because freight's so expensive on furniture.
What do you want to do for the outside color here?
White. I already have it right there, and I have a brush.
And you've got a brush.
Can you pass me the Farm Fresh? I'll put another coat of that on here.
Farm Fresh.
And then I still need, when I get to the frame, I need you to take this off. What color DIY? So I'm using Farm Fresh. It's a really great fall color in the same family as Apothecary. It's more of a duck egg blue, but it pairs really well with like Queen Bee and Hey Sailor if you're looking for fall colors. And Summer Crush is a really good fall orange that pairs well with this color. So you're going to see us starting to bring out fall colors in our decor. And it's not like overtly fall, right? Like I want somebody to be able to use it year round, but I like to have these things kind of commingled. So then when I go to make my display, I have things to pull from that match what I'm looking to do. Leah says I've used 4-inch foam rollers sometimes, but use gloves and pull it off to throw the roller in the trash. Yeah, because you have to use so much water to like clean the roller. I use it till the roller's basically dead, and I put it in a Ziploc bag and save it for the entire house painting project, and then I just dispose of it, trying to get all the use out of it. White, we're using vintage linen.
Yes, vintage linen on the white.
Using today. If you guys are just tuning in, these came out of our barn and originally were on a hutch that we lost the key to, and we needed it for display anyways, so we didn't want the doors on it. And they've just been hanging out in the barn waiting for a project. Vicky said she was just picking. Doesn't stop her from buying. I know it ain't stopping you from shopping, Vicky. I know. Vicky does some fun projects.
I mean, I keep waiting for you to come out here with a U-Haul, Vicky, and load up.
And that may sound crazy, but we have had multiple people come from out of state and load up U-Hauls or load up their truck and trailer. It is super fun. We just had that happen a few weeks ago. And so it's been good that we've been doing clean outs because I've like restocked the whole shop with stuff that was just waiting to be done. So it's a good way to like refresh everything. Shop looks a little bit different because things sold and I can bring in new items. All right, 2 coats. This is definitely good. And what I did, because I want it to look old and I want the texture, is I brushed it one way, then let it dry and brushed it the other way. So now we've got kind of a cross hatch texture and that's really pretty. Well, at least in my opinion. All right, do you want me to do that and I'll heat gun that?
Yeah, I will.
You've got blue everywhere. Why is there Farm Fresh over here?
I feel like you got it everywhere.
Are you blaming me?
I don't know. It could have been me.
All right, I need to swap though because I need you to take these off.
There's a high chance that it was me.
Vicky said that her husband went to Utah and came home with COVID, so not great memories.
Oh, no.
Hey, you could go anywhere and come home with COVID. It happens. Now it's like the common cold. You don't really hear of anybody getting it, but I think it still happens. It's just more common. People have immunities built up now. All right.
Swap. Look how good that's looking with the Farm Fresh and the white, even just one.
It's just a really, and we're going to distress it and bring back the base color of dark wood before we put the transfer on it. Then we'll seal the inside and then we'll put the transfer on. So there's a lot of steps involved here.
So the only hiccup we have cleaning the barn out, it's actually taking up a ton of room in there, is we pulled apart that old shed at our other property. If you haven't seen that video, it's on the Jamie and Zeb channel because we filmed quite a bit of it.
You can watch me use a tractor.
But it's just sitting in there, and it's one of those plastic sheds, those lifetime plastic sheds, and it costs about $1,000. It's a pretty big shed, so I'm like, let's save it. I can use this somewhere. But now it's just like sliding down the wall and falling all over into the floor, and it's in the middle.
I think we should put a free sign on it.
No.
And give it away.
No, I can put that back together. I still have all the stuff.
But where? Where are you going to put it back together?
I'm going to take it out to the new property.
In 2029?
No, tomorrow.
I don't know that I really want a plastic shed out there, though. It's really not a great idea with a snow load.
Well, I just handled the snow load at our other place, which was more. We'll see. We'll see if what we do with it. If anything, I would want to sell it, not just.
So what's his best size stencil brushes? So while I'm just drying paint, I'll give you the lowdown. Somebody says, do you need all the brushes? I use all the brushes, but if I did want to buy all 4, I would buy a smaller one and like the smallest one and the 1-inch. The smaller one works really great for intricate detailed stencils, especially if you're doing multiple colors. And then the 1-inch works really great for big stencils. It can also be used for waxing. So they're not just stencil brushes. I love the little ones for when I'm waxing detail. And I love the 1, and is it the 1 1/4 for waxing larger items. You technically shouldn't go back and forth between stenciling and waxing.
We wash them out good.
But I have done it. You just have to wash them out really good in between. But for waxing, especially if you do thrift flips, like using a giant wax brush just isn't practical. So even if you don't stencil, I would buy a couple stencil brushes for waxing your thrift flips or just detail work.
Yeah, they're good for the details waxing. If you don't want wax all over your whole piece, but you just want it down like in the crevices, those smaller brushes work really well for that.
This is vintage linen, Caitlin. All right. We're gonna get this. I'll go around the edge so I can go kind of slow, and then I'll paint the middle. Zeb, will the tractor fit in the shed?
No, it's too big for the shed.
You could
but I am going to be parking it back in the barn again.
You could fit the lawnmower in the shed.
Oh yeah, the lawnmower would go in there.
Maybe Richard would let us put the shed on his side. We're kind of out of space.
I honestly don't think Richard cares at all what happens.
Yeah, I would love to just put the shed over there.
He's basically told me, he's like, do what you want.
So Richard is our neighbor.
Because Richard is the neighbor that owns the back lot. It's like a 1/4 acre that Buttercup
pastures
has. Well, pastures
it's
a loose term.
I guess it's her pin.
It doesn't grow much grass. It was mostly weeds, and she's eating it down. I'm gonna seed it this fall. It's not a good time to seed right now because it'll just die if it came up because of the heat.
Yeah, we're gonna seed it this fall, and hopefully it'll come back next year.
But I'm gonna seed it this fall, and hopefully in the spring we just have like tons of like 3-foot tall pasture grass back there for her. But she eats it pretty good, so it might never get 3 feet tall.
Hey, Yumiko.
But anyway, Richard's like, yeah, just do whatever. I don't care what you do back here.
So if you wanted to work on a project like this and you wanted to hang it on the wall, a lot of people want to know how they should hang them. And we use what's called French cleats. You can pick them up at your local hardware store, Home Depot, or Amazon. If Caitlin has a second, she might could drop a link. And the way those work is they screw into the back of your piece, and then you screw it into the wall, and then you just slide your piece on, and a little one can hold up to 100 pounds. So whenever we're doing something like this,
it needs to be about 8 inches long.
But that's pretty little to hold 100 pounds. The little ones usually hold like 50. But my point being, like, whenever we have heavy salvage and we want to hang it and we want it to be secure, we use French cleats.
Do you guys remember our other house where we had those big windows on that wall that was vaulted, that big vaulted wall? If you don't remember, we got videos on it.
Caitlin, the
actually
link.
Hanging them, but
Sorry,
those held that window just fine.
French cleats. Never mind. She heard me. French cleats. Okay, she's on it. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I also didn't want to forget that Caitlin needed that.
No, you're fine.
She's working on it because we get asked a lot. So I just thought that would be super helpful if you don't know. I don't suggest like screwing into your wall or just putting like a little tiny hook on the back. Like that's not a great way. This is solid wood. Like this is heavy. You don't want this falling on you or your plants or your pets or your grandkids or whatever. So if you have big mirrors, same thing, French cleats. And if it's something really big, use 2 smaller cleats and put 1 on each side. All right, now this is completely covered. I'm gonna heat gun it and then—
Does it need another coat of white or are we gonna—
Yeah, it's gonna need another coat of white for sure. I guess I'll heat gun the outside so I can do that.
All right, it's almost time for transfers.
Almost. We're only what, like, I guess we're 20 minutes into the video. It does have bleed through, but I'm not going to worry about that because we are going to distress it. So if I was worried about the little spots of bleed through coming through, then I would just use our Salvation Solution primer. Thanks, Caitlin. She dropped the link for the French cleats if you need it. Why are you painting the edge of the frame blue instead of white?
It's white.
It's white. It's all white. The edge is all white. The inside's blue because we're putting white flowers on the inside. All right, when you're done with that, I need to second coat the edge.
This Farm Fresh blue, it's like a green to me.
It's more blue than Apothecary.
Yeah, that's true.
What's the plan with these? We're just going to sell them. So we'll sell them in the shop.
They'll be like salvage art.
Yeah. Sometimes what we do when we sell a piece like this is we put the French cleat on the back for the customer if we have it. And then we just take the other half, put it in a Ziploc baggie and tape it to the back. So that way they already have what they need to hang it. Because sometimes customers, especially if they're not in the business, they are like, oh, I don't know about hanging something like that in my house. And when you've already provided them a solution, then you're more likely to sell it.
This is the heat gun marathon now.
I thought it was green. I would say it's blue-green.
It's a blue-green.
So, hey, Shelly Dean. All right, are you done with the white?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I only have 1 coat on both.
I might retouch up I think the sides are okay. It's just the top. Okay, this one I'm going to have to be a little bit more careful because I don't want to have to touch up the Farm Fresh. So I'm just going to cut this across the edge here. So much easier to do that than trying to get the white down into the routed edge.
These are a fun shape because they're not quite arched. They're not symmetrical.
See if I could replicate that cut line on this other side. Oh, the inside of the frame. Yeah, we don't want it to be all the same. We want it to have some fun. We want it to look like framed art, essentially. So the white is the frame to the art, and the blue is the art. So if it was all white, oops, coarse, look at that. I'd get, it would look just like we put a transfer on something, and we were kind of trying to make the inside look like the background to the art. Which
so
is
this is the transfer we're doing. Have we used too much of that transfer, or is it?
We have only used one piece.
Okay.
But we're only going to need one sheet per piece. Somebody said, how's Buttercup doing? She's pregnant, sassy.
I'm about to trim her hooves myself because like we've had her since last October and she needed her hooves trimmed then. And I've tried several people. We're in town. There's like 90,000 people that live in Lehigh.
We can't find anybody to do them.
And everyone either is like, yeah, I only do horses, or they want to do like a whole dairy's worth of cows. I can't get anyone to come do the.
I just my brother-in-law is a horse farrier, and I know he doesn't like to do cows, but I need to get him to come.
I got a stanchion. I might just put her in there and just do it.
Just go slow.
You just have to be careful because if you trim back too far, you can really hurt them and make them lame. And she's not currently lame. Her hooves are just long. So I'm like,
yeah, there's not like, it's not hurting her.
Yeah, it's not hurting her right now.
It might be uncomfortable, but it's not hurting her. And if she was in the wild, they just
so I've been watching lots of videos and talking to my dad. My dad's kind of in the same boat I am. He did like range beef cattle all his life and never had to trim a cow's hoof ever.
Well, maybe just take her for a walk and see if they shorten up.
Yeah.
All right. This one is all painted. So I just got to heat gun the inside and then we can get started distressing. I'm going to move this out of the way. Do you need any more Farm Fresh? Actually, you do.
Where?
Right there.
Oh.
It doesn't have to be perfect. Oh, and you forgot this side.
Did I miss the side? High chance.
All right, I got you.
That I missed that while I was.
You had a lot going on.
I can't look over here. All right, that's dry. I'm going to go back with another coat of white. The exciting part's coming.
And we will distress the transfer once we put it on there. I might just let this dry really good. Like let it cool off and not put sealer, because sometimes when I put sealer and heat gun it, then the transfer the sealer needs longer to dry than the paint. So I think I'm just going to heat gun it, let it cool all the way, and then just put that transfer right on the paint, then distress it. Basically just talking out loud here. So I'm working my way through the project. We didn't really plan ahead today. I was weeding.
I was going to do inlays, and then we found this transfer that we still haven't used the whole thing up. We're like, yeah, let's use that.
Well, we also have so many projects going on. It's like, which one's next? What are we doing next? Zeb weeded the garden. Did you get all that back garden done?
I didn't get all in the corn, but I got everything that had popped up in the gravel is all gone.
Oh, nice. Zeb and I divided and conquered. We have this side garden bed that gets these little weeds in them that look kind of like flowers. And we have marigolds popping up because I've been crunching up my dried marigolds to spread them out. So you have to be careful and you have to know which one's a weed and which one's a marigold. So that's what I was doing, is sorting that out this morning. I kind of like to make my beds self-sufficient. So in a couple of years, I'm not really planting anything. I'm just thinning out the flowers that are coming in.
Well, and if you get enough flowers like marigolds that are self-propagating, then you just really have to.
I actually don't think there are any veterinary colleges close to us. Do you know, Zeb?
No, I don't think so. There's some tech schools.
Jackie says she just got the sale notice for the stencil brushes. Yeah, it just happened. Caitlin, do you know if Ivy took out those extra stencil brushes for the craft kits? So we usually plan on about 150 craft kits, and so that's what we purchased for. And we sold 76 more craft kits than that 150. So we just ordered extra aprons today. I had plenty of towels. My manufacturer is going to ship us more stencils, and I ordered more paint pots. So if you ordered kind of towards the end, that won't be shipping for probably another week.
It might still be pretty close to the end or the end of
yeah,
July.
it might be the
beginning
beginning of August, just because we're waiting on more supplies. But it was so popular that I was like, I can't cut this off and not let people order the craft kit. We're probably not going to have extra stencils or anything, but we will have extra aprons and towels just because I have to order them in such a large quantity. So once all the craft kits do ship out, if you ordered a craft kit and you're like, hey, I need more aprons or towels to make more for Christmas presents or whatever, I will have those up on the website probably in about 2 to 3 weeks. Or even if you didn't order a craft kit and you have your own supplies, I'll have some extra
you can use any stencil you want
aprons and towels. So that's kind of fun. When you do what we do, you have to order in like bulk. Otherwise, it's not cost effective. Like I'm ordering hundreds of aprons. So if I only need a certain amount, I still get more than I need. Jackie says her craft kit's being delivered today.
Yep, some of them have already shipped.
Which reminds me, let me double check. Oh, did I do my math right?
I hope you did your math right. No fuzzy math.
No fuzzy math. No, I need to order more aprons. It's all right.
Are you doing that?
I'm gonna do that right now before I forget. I did do fuzzy math. Like as I was talking about it out loud, I was like, oh.
So do you want to sand this and then wipe it back before?
No, I don't want to get any sanding dust before we put the transfer on. Right now, I'm just waiting for this to really cool down, and then we'll put the transfer on and distress.
Okay.
Okay, let me just check out here. Sorry, guys. When you have ADHD, the struggle is real.
That's why you see Jamie do stuff on camera, because if she doesn't do it right now or send herself a text to do it later, it won't happen later. It'll be gone.
All right. I got to message them to see if they'll combine my orders for shipping. All right. Please use the Inlay. Yeah. Vicky wants us to do one for her. Okay, so I'm going to start off with this one. I'm going to cut off this M because I might have to add it somewhere later. I'm debating, like, if I put it here and then I have a little, like, there's this piece, right? Then we also have the rest of this piece.
You got wet white paint here.
It's fine. I might have to add some more. So I'm going to start with this one, and then you can use this one. But I would cut off that part there. So we're not going to do
the maize flowers.
Well, we could, but I don't want to have M on one and A's on the other. You know what I'm saying?
Maize.
Be like, A's. So I think I'm going to put this up here, and then I will add more down here because we have more flowers from other parts of the transfer. So just because a transfer is made to go together a certain way does not mean you have to assemble it that way.
Oh no, my paint's still wet.
Oh no, look what you did. I didn't worry about the edge because I'm putting the transfer on. Do we have a stick though?
I know where a bunch are because we found a bunch in the garage.
They come with a stick. But if you can't find a stick, the back of a spoon, the side of scissors, there's a lot of options. It's best if you seal it first and let it dry a few hours. But if you don't have time to let the sealer dry, I would say just going right over the paint is best. What? I do need a stick. Like, this is not optimum. Just making it do.
So I put a bunch in here and they're already all gone.
What? Oh, I can use my scissors if you want to use this.
Nope.
Can you fix the camera when you get a second, sweetie?
I have found a stick as well.
We should have them like a million of them because every transfer comes with one and they survive one transfer. Like,
so are you just putting these up in the middle, kind of floating?
I'm putting it on the top and then I'm going to put extras down here to complete the look because we have a few more pages.
Just know if you overlap with them that
They'll be okay.
They don't distress as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I just made sure the top looked good and then I'm going to work my way down. That's my plan. See how I have a little bit of border? So just kind of make it. Wooden spoon is the best stick. True story. So I kind of ride the wave and go around the edges. And then I don't have to you don't have to rub the entire transfer. Although this pulled up a little, so I'm going to stick it back where it goes.
These are nice big designs, so they go on super easy.
The detailed designs take a little bit longer, but I've got that going. And I've already used a little bit on a tray, like a planter thing. Mm-hmm. So we have, we only have one more piece left. So we have to share this, you and I. That's the last part. So you can have that piece, and I'm taking this one. Debating on how I want to attach this.
Did you figure out how you're going to overlap it?
Yeah, I might cut off this piece down here. And I might put some words on mine. I mean, if I need to, I can go to the shop and get another maze transfer to fill it in. But I think I could just put some words down here and that'll balance it out. So I have this if you need it. Did you take the stick?
No. This is my stick.
It's your stick. It's my stick.
Oh, it's separate.
That's hiding.
Ta-da! Just like that.
Transfers are very satisfying. Like very quickly you get a result that is desired. So now I've got that.
Okay, so here's one. Let me show you how detailed this is. So it's kind of floating though, so I gotta do like what Jamie's doing. Build the
So now I'm
bottom
just
up.
using these words, 12 Everbloom, only $1.50. That'll fill in this area and mine's gonna be good. And that leaves you the cream collection of roses. You might have to search to find all the words, but I have an M somewhere for your maze. Where did I cut it off? It's around here somewhere. Now I just got to heat gun the white and then I can distress and seal this. I overlapped it a little bit, but not too much. So now when we're all done, we'll have used this one transfer for 3 projects. Make sure you're charging accordingly. Like I'm probably going to charge $50, probably $59.95 per cabinet door to cover the cost of our time, the item initially, the transfer that I'm using. Because it's a pretty big piece of art here. I might even charge $69. I need to figure out like shipping and stuff. Do you know how to lower a cow's food ratio so the baby's not too big and cause problems? We don't really have to worry about that because we bred her with a mini. So the baby's not going to be too big anyways.
Nope. I think it's a tiny mini.
Like little. We thought about that before we even got started. All right. Heat gun this edge. So I just have to heat gun the white so I can distress my piece. I'll go grab some 220. I think we have some in the hutch. If we don't, I know where it is in the garage.
I got a leaf I didn't like that was going to overlap weird, so I just pulled that off.
The other thing about pricing too, like as we've gotten better at our craft, we've charged more. So when we first started out, people are like, you've raised your prices. Well, as you learn what you're doing, that's how that works. You pay a lot more for a tile guy that's been tiling for years than you do for a noob that just got done with his apprenticeship. I don't know, this transfer is a 4-sheet transfer, so probably around $29.95 for the transfer. I don't know for sure. The 8-sheet transfers are more expensive, obviously, because there's more sheets, but. Caitlin, can you put the price of that on there and the listing for the maize transfer again? Thank you. She just dropped a link for it. I'm gonna go grab some sandpaper. Oh, let's see. Here, this one's not too used. Now you could also just wet distress it, but I just want to take it off the edge. 220 works great for that. Might have to wet distress it to get this paint off. You wouldn't think without sanding that you would have a struggle to get the paint off, but this DIY paint just like dries super hard, especially when you heat gun it. Okay, let's distress the transfer. This is where that texture that's underneath is really going to come through, because when you distress it, it's going to look aged and it's going to help the transfer look aged. And if it was super smooth, you wouldn't get all the highs and lows in the clay paint.
So if you watch me over here meticulously cutting, I'm just trying to fit it without too much overlap into the corner.
I probably took all the easiest pieces. Sorry.
No, I don't know that you did that. It's just the way my flower lined up.
I really like to focus like on the edges because that's where it would naturally wear over time.
So there's like,
I'm going to do a lot of wet distressing, and so I'm going to clean my rag out.
Where I need the spring.
What?
It says spring collection of cream roses.
Well, where's the M for maize?
Or cream collection of spring roses. I think we
I
put
don't.
it.
Oh, here's the M. If you want it to say maize, there you go. Or you can make it say ways. I mean, really got a lot of options there. So because this hasn't been sealed yet, I can come through and pull off a little bit more of the paint with my rag, the same rag that I used to clean it with. And this will actually smooth out the paint finish a little too. I'm probably not going to get the inside wet. I'm just wanting to age this edge a little bit more. And I'm tired of using sandpaper. All right, I'm going to get a dry rag, just pull up all the dust that I made in the middle before I wax it.
Okay, I need my spring is somewhere.
Your spring is some. I didn't steal it. Okay, if you need it, here's a wet and a dry. I'll put it back here. I'm gonna go grab that clear wax, and I also have. Do you need this little bow to like fill in this little spot right there?
Probably not.
Okay.
I have more roses over here.
Okie dokie.
All right. Hopefully we can find the spring.
We're definitely gonna have
Otherwise,
to,
it's ing roses.
or you could just take it off. What did you do? You committed before you knew you had it?
Yep.
We will paint the backs of them off camera just to make them look a little bit neater. I mean, it's going on a wall. The other thing we could do if we don't paint the backs is we might just, like his has paint on it. Before you seal it, you could just wipe it off. It'll come clean. One or the other. I'm going to go ahead and seal this up. So you can totally seal transfers with wax. It doesn't have to be a liquid sealer. Now this is going to be a little bit splotchy, which is okay. It'll, once it dries, it'll lighten up and it'll be less splotchy. And it will give a little bit of halo around the edge of the transfer also okay. It just does that because that's kind of the edge of the transfer and there's paint underneath it that obviously isn't getting sealer on it because it's got the transfer on it.
All right. I'm scraping my spring off and I'm going to put maize roses here.
Okay.
Because I could not find the spring.
There's no blue.
It's probably on that one other sheet that we used and it's gone.
It's gone.
It is already stuck super good.
You could just sand it and paint over it.
Yeah, I might. Can you hand me that sandpaper?
You have some over there, but you can use this one. I'm done with it. I put the paint behind you. I get my hair and everything. I'll just have to clean it up afterwards. I'm just using clear wax here, guys. Just seal it up.
And be careful not to heat gun the transfer you've already got on there if you're doing something like this.
Because it does help peel it up, which is great, except for it does help peel it up. So you don't want to do that. And then I'll just buff this with another rag. Pull off the excess wax. And like I said, it's going to be a little splotchy, but when that wax dries, it'll look good. And if you wanted to, you could come in and dark wax it, but I don't think I'm gonna. I think the dark from the stain underneath is looking pretty good. Oops, there goes the wax brush.
Jamie's all done with her project. I'm over here still doing the
Well,
transfers.
you started after me and you had to remove all the hardware. You could make it two-sided art, but then you would have to not use French cleats on the back. You'd have to hang it. You could hang it probably with a couple of eye hooks here, like big heavy duty ones, and put like a rope, and then you can make it two-sided. Oops, that was soft. I'm gonna stop rubbing on it. That does happen when you just paint and you don't let it cure up. It's soft. Ta-da! All right, we're a little bit distressed here. We got the edges a little worn. Zeb's is gonna look the same way when we're finished. It's already 10:48. So
right, I'm almost done. And
we have like 12 minutes.
And then we can show them. You waxed yours already?
I'm gonna paint the back of mine. What'd you say?
You already waxed yours?
Yep, I did. I waxed. I rubbed too hard. I wiped some of the paint off, but I like it, so I'm gonna go with it. The paint was fresh.
My paint's not even dry on the sides.
Shabby You says, love it. Yumiko says she loves how we show how to fix mistakes and just keep going. Well, it happens. I mean, even to seasoned users, and I think the best thing is to not freak out. It's just, if you freak out and it stresses you out, then it's really not fun to do. I'm probably not going to worry about second coating the back of this. I'm just painting it so that way it looks okay in the shop from every angle. And I want to get the project all the way done because, like I said, as soon as we're done, it's Barnapalooza. Isn't most of what Jamie and Zeb do off-label? Well, it's really a lifestyle choice. I mean, we like to push things so we know how far they can go. I mean, our job is not just creators, right? As retailers, our job is to be able to help you with problems that may come up. And the only way to do that is to create problems. And I'm a good problem creator. Then likewise, I become a good problem solver. Okay, the other thing we need to remember to do is to put the hardware pull back on the front too.
Yep.
And I will eventually wax that too.
I mean, these would be fun cabinet doors. You could build a whole cabinet around these. They're pretty sturdy still.
Which would you say, Fusion or Dixie Belle instead of DIY? I would say Cottage Color. Cottage Color has a built-in sealer. It's self-leveling. It's awesome. And I don't use Dixie Belle or Fusion, so I really can't speak to them. I use the products I sell, and that's about it, because I need to really be an expert on those, and it just makes it, doesn't mean that there's not other things out there that are good, because I would never want to say that. It just, I only use what I sell because I know how the product reacts. Are you going to live on Barnapalooza? No.
No.
Oh my gosh, that would be the worst. We'll film it and it'll go up Thursday at some point, but which is tomorrow already, because the barn sale will be Friday. Maybe I'll go live real quick on Friday just to show you what it looks like, but.
Where's your wax brushes? Oh, down on the floor.
Yumiko says she only uses what I use. It's not everybody has easy access to it either. So there are other products out there. Someday we'll get DIY paint in the UK. We ship there, but obviously shipping is like super spendy.
Get with a bunch of your friends, do a co-op.
Yeah.
Co-op shipment.
Okay. Ta-da! All right, do we have the little knob I can screw back on?
Yep.
Where are those at?
They're right over here. So backer, and here's a pool.
So how does this work? It just goes over the top and then you screw the pull on?
Yep. I probably line your flower up in the back before you got it too tight, though.
It's
See
fine.
how you're... There you go.
You want it to be centered?
Please.
All right, I'm done. Yours is looking good. I actually like that. Cream collection of maize roses. Crisis averted. It is a little splotchy in the middle, but it's like mine.
It'll calm down.
It'll calm down.
Here, let me take
Want
off.
to show yours?
Let me take off the excess.
We'll stick it outside to dry. Don't stick it in direct sunlight though, because that could just make the wax melt. Give it the 24 hours.
Uh-oh.
So if you're just tuning in, we used vintage linen, farm fresh, the maize roses transfer from Iron Orchid Designs, and we sealed it up with DIY clear wax. All of those products can be found at jamierayvintage.com. And for the next week, we have, Caitlin, can you give me the end date? Because I just don't remember off the top of my head. We have our JRV stencil brushes that can be used for stenciling and waxing. I said we might stencil, but I don't think we're going to get to it today. They're 20% off. So if you've been waiting to get a JRV stencil brush, definitely check those out while they're on sale.
All right.
There. Yeah, the sidewalk sale will only be because of like selling fast and crazy. It's only going to be on in store, and then whatever doesn't sell will ultimately get listed online and put in the shop. But this weekend it's just going to be local. All right.
There we go. A couple pieces of fun art.
I think they turned out really good. And it's funny that we did them separately, but they look really similar.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we had all the same colors and everything. Although your wax is already toning back better than mine.
Well, I am good. Just kidding. If you guys like this video, be sure to hit that share button. We do send happy mail to people that share on Facebook. And if you like this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Jamie Ray Vintage for more
DIY.
Bye, guys. Have a fabulous day.